Everyone, welcome to That Bible Guy. So good to have you all with me again today on what has been a fabulous and sunny weekend. I've been very busy with the kids and with the request to buy a paddling pool. We ended up going, my daughter went to a friend's house and they were in the paddling pool there. So it's been beautiful weather. I do hope you're enjoying that with a little bit of relaxation of lockdown rules, which is great. I do hope you enjoyed your service today, whatever that was as well. We had our online service. It was in London. Also, Scandinavian churches joined in, all of London, even parts of Nigeria tuned in as well, and also Ireland and Northern Ireland ourselves. Great lesson by Chris Reed. Really got me thinking about when you hear no, where do you go? So I appreciate just that and thinking about my responses to that. But my purpose of giving this video today on a Sunday, just ahead of tomorrow, was to give you a heads up on the start of a new series tomorrow, which I've talked about already, which is basically a follow-up to my Isaiah series, and I'm entering into territory that I am very comfortable with. I have to say, it's the territory that I've often been in: apologetics, defending the faith, defending and giving evidences for God and theism and Christianity and Jesus and so on. So anyway, the series is going to be about evidences for God. Starts tomorrow, and it's going to be based on my acronym. So I'm basically going to give, there's going to be 8 weeks in total. This is the introduction, and then there's going to be 8 weeks in total. They're all going to be based, the evidences each week. Each week I'm going to give one bit of evidence on the Monday or Tuesday. And then on the Thursday for my patrons, I'll give some more details in a moment. There's an extra class on the Thursday for patrons on the Patreon site. So on a Monday, I'm going to give the first evidence tomorrow, which is going to be based on my acronym. I said it's going to be F-A-I-T-H, spells faith. F-A-I-T-H, spells faith. And the evidences are all within that. So F is the first one tomorrow, and that's going to be F, which stands for first cause. Cosmological argument. So it's all from cosmology. It's a crazy word. Love that word, actually. Cosmology. So it's a cosmological argument tomorrow, which is faith. First cause, beginning of the universe, cosmological argument. A, we'll repeat this a lot of times in case you forget. A stands for Anthropic principle, which is also known as the anthropos, meaning human. It also is known as the fine-tuning argument or the teleological argument. So many words for that one. That's A, Anthropic principle. I stands for injustice, or which is known as the moral argument. So the moral argument, we're going to learn about morality, how that supports the evidence for God. And then F-A-I-T, which is testimony. T stands for testimony. So anecdotal evidence of people's changed lives, but also the lives of the apostles that changed, and Paul who changed, and many people in scriptures whose lives were transformed, the beginnings of the early church and so on. So that's T. H is made up of 3. H is going to be history of the Bible. It's also going to be history of Jesus, and also history in terms of the evidence of the resurrection. So there's 5, 6, 7 pieces of evidence that I feel we really benefit from knowing. Evidence that can support the idea that our belief in God is sound, secure, solid, it makes sense. Our word faith that I look at initially always was more inclined to encompass more terms which involve trust. So our word faith now we think of as being purely feeling based, whereas the word in the New Testament, the word often meant the idea of a grounded faith built on trust, based on evidence. So evidence was part of that word faith in the early days, which just came to be missing a little bit. So anyway, we're going to look at the M pieces of evidence. So it's going to be 7 pieces of evidence today, tomorrow, starting with F, first cause, cosmology. How does the beginning of the universe indicate that it's more likely that God exists rather than that he doesn't? I'll talk more about this. It's a cumulative argument. So we're not going to say that any one piece of the evidence is a knockdown argument and you simply must believe based on one of these things, although it may be the case. But we're going to say it's a cumulative argument. So each one taken with the other one would strongly support the idea that we as Christians have got the right view of the origins of the universe, why we're here, the existential questions, where we're going, and what this life is really all about. As I said, tomorrow it's going to be about first cause, cosmological argument. As a follow-up to this each week, so each Monday or Tuesday I'm going to give the new piece of evidence, details on that evidence, and how we would be able to understand and know about that evidence to back up our position and give us confidence in discussions. On the Thursday, again, just for time purposes, for my patrons, I'm also going to put on another class, which is going to be, when I present the evidence to you, I'm also going to look at, well, what's the objections to that evidence? Because there are objections to the evidence I present. So how do we deal with the objections to the evidence, and how do I use that evidence? So you're telling me the universe came into existence because it was designed by God. How do you have that conversation with someone? How does that help me engage with people, trying to help them become Christians, or make my view of the world, tenable, to make it strong? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that for the next, as I say, week 1 is going to be looking at cosmological argument. Week 2 is going to be the Anthropic principle. Week 3 is going to be the moral argument. Week 4 is testimony. Week 5 is the history of the Bible. Week 6, the history about Jesus, history of the resurrection. And in week 8 is the conclusion. I do hope to get a bulletin out, like a newsletter out, to have this written down. I certainly will. I'll certainly put one out online, maybe get one on a PDF format, just so we can see that. But I do feel very excited about this. I feel excited about presenting it. I've presented this material several times, but I'm very excited about presenting it on here in a way that people can engage with it. I do believe this will help people to become disciples, followers of Christ. Whenever as Christians we can stand up, and as 1 Peter 3 talks about, be prepared to give an answer for the reason for the hope that you have. Apologia. Defend. Be able to give an answer for the reason for the hope that you have. An answer, apologia, a defense of your faith. 2 Corinthians 10 verse 5 talks about us being able to demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God. We should be able to knock down the arguments that stand up against God and be able to make a defense of why we believe, because it's logical, rational, consistent, it's reasonable, and it's likely, and there's lots of evidence to back it up. So that's what I want to do. As I said, I'm very excited about presenting the evidence to you, but also excited as well for us to go on and learn, again, for those who can, to go on and learn, how do I use this? And I'd love to get your feedback on who you've been able to have the conversations with. So again, reflecting back, it was an incredible Isaiah series. I appreciate all your comments and all your encouragement I got. So people said the highlight of the series was Sophie. I love that you said that. It's just a bit of a joke. Dad, you've done 53 videos. I was in 1 little minute of one of them and everyone thought that was the highlight. That's good enough for me. I'm happy with that. But I do hope that really grow this ministry more and more. As I say, that's why I have to do the Patreon idea, where the patrons get an extra class on a Thursday, because I need to build this into a workable ministry, which is why, if you can, support me on www.patreon.com/thatbibleguy. Anything on there would help at all to make this ministry grow. I was talking to someone today. I'd love to get a new mic so I don't have to wear my headphones. I'd love to get a new technology to help to grow these things. I have big plans. God has put things in my heart. There's things that I want to do. I do want to also be sharing with you as well about Bible studies I'll be having with people I'm reaching out to, and what I really want to do, what I really get excited about is discussions about who we're reaching out to. Discussions about what's stopping that person become a Christian. And we all know it's got to be the Holy Spirit that works in people's hearts, that draw, Jesus says, when I leave, I will draw all men to myself. It's not our work. It's not our efforts. But we've got to be able to make a defense. The Bible does say we should be able to make a defense. So that's the purpose of this. I do hope that we can be excited about this, that we can be tuned in. Please drop me any questions or thoughts you have. I'm sure there'll be engagement as we go along. But as I say, Monday or Tuesday, probably tomorrow or Tuesday, I'll be getting in and we'll be looking at how does the beginning of the universe, the existence of the universe, point towards God. How can I speak about this in a way that people can be persuaded that God is the designer, architect, and builder of this universe? So that's what we're going to be coming back with. I'm going to be coming back in with you tomorrow. Thanks for listening today. I say go and like on this video. Please share it. Get other people focused on listening to the evidences which support God. I'm sure there's many people you can think about right now. Many people you can think about is, I'd love to reach out to that person. I'd love to convince that person. I'd love to have a conversation with that person. My goal, along with getting this word out there, is that we don't retreat into a corner when someone says something about whatever and we can't answer it. Be prepared to answer. Get his word out there. Please subscribe to That Bible Guy. Please join the community. Go over to Patreon if you can. All these stuff you'll hear every time I say. I look forward to coming in tomorrow and sharing some further thoughts with you on the incredible universe that God has designed. Thanks for listening. Let's get his word out there. Let's be prepared to answer. God bless.